They've waited 3 months to pour back into the iconic Big House after wins over Ohio State and Alabama to wrap up the season. Momentum has been plentiful throughout the course of this offseason in Ann Arbor. Along with Bryce Wilcox. A really good crowd at the Big House and a glimpse of what those fall Saturdays will look like.
More hype than quarterback Bryce Underwood. Just thinking about the stark contrast from no passing game last year to now Bryce.
First play whistled down.
See it even when Michigan's social media team was posting videos from their bowl game prep when he was down there practicing with the team. He looks like an NFL quarterback.
Run it up the gut for the first time. That OC role. Neither are calling the plays today, though, as Underwood's first pass is complete and caught by Channing Goodwin, a player that they are high on at the receiver spot. And of course, wanting to find out who will emerge in terms of who's catching the ball.
But Sharon Moore deciding to, draft, split the teams up, and like you said, Jason, simulate what the fall will look like having an actual game here.
It feels like it. They've showed up.
Players I'm most interested to see today. He was a highly touted recruit. At one point, he was a 5-star, high 4-star. As you mentioned, Jason, we're going to get a heavy dose of both these two young, talented quarterbacks as they leave
day after the win over Alabama to set the tone for this offseason. They'll hand it off again, running to the right side this time. Goes Marshall into the D-line. This defense, Jake.
Wink said he changed his body completely, and they got depth and competition in that linebacker room.
Once again, going to the ground of the Marshall, stumbles forward, just short tackles in that game against Bama. His shiftiness was on display there. They're going to go for it on 4th and 1 here. First kind of scenario situation that we get. And did he get stopped short?
Defense likes to do. They like to blitz the nickels and the safeties, and came unblocked as Max Bredesen came across the formation to kick out the defensive end. No one accounted for Jordan Young, and a great job making that play on 4th and 1. Fluidity and balance that Chip has as a play caller.
He comes over from North Carolina after a couple of years with the Tar Heels. Explosive offenses. That ball nearly jumps. Coming up on the route at time. TJ Metcalf, his first time in the Big House in front of a crowd as well. They'll hand it off this time, going back to the ground. That timing, the speed, acceleration.
Play a game there for Bryce and the blue offense.
A 3rd and long situation for him. Better pocket this time. His first deep throw down the seam at intentions for Goodwin, who was double covered.
His teammates. And that's something that I learned a little bit talking to his high school coach as well, who said that this dude would go through a normal 3-hour practice in high school. Then he would have his own practice after that one. And after a little while, he started bringing other guys with him with that extra work.
QB today for the Maize team. A slight jump. It's going to be a free play. He throws it up, and that is snared down. Donovan McCulley. A transfer from Indiana that they hope will be really big for them.
Get some reps with the basketball team, but showing what he can do in those 50-50 ball situations right there.
Potentially some dual sport action. Peyton O'Leary this time on the receiving end. The Maize team starts to get into a little flow. We were looking to see which guys could
be back in coverage 10 to 15 yards, so everything opens up and the offense has more room to breathe.
Trying to avoid that phone booth feel that pass. We did talk yesterday, Jake, as they were 3rd and 6 situation here for Jaden Davis, and the Maize offense was well protected initially, but then that pass incomplete. We were talking about running backs. Rhett is down at the sideline with Blake Cole.
Being an early enrollee, right? But coming out here, the fans, hearing the plays, he just has to stay calm. I think he's done a phenomenal job so far. We bit ourselves in the foot on that second drive, but we're going to keep up the good work. I think their vision is really well on both sides. I think they have a wonderful running back room going into the season.
You got anything special lined up here for the blue team? Any tricks that we need to be aware of here?
We have a couple tricks up our sleeve, just
for him. Go to the ground here. Cole Sullivan on the tackle. Working out of the shotgun this time for Underwood on first down. In a one-on-one. Once Goodwin out of his reach and incomplete.
About Sharon Moore, what he wants the offense to be. He always uses the word smash, and both Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall, both those guys, just the way they run with violence and strength, are tone setters for back. You want to try to get him in advantageous positions.
Highest ranked running back in the transfer portal hits the edge here. That's why he's the highest ranked running back in the portal. No longer in the portal, in the maize and blue now, and he's got the blue team a first down.
6 yards per carry. The more you can get in third and short or second and manageable situations, the better it's going to help Bryce Underwood.
Connects with Goodwin again there on the sideline. They really like Goodwin's versatility and where he can line up in different spots.
Real zip on him.
Here he is again. Good step back. Good throw. Connects with Goodwin once more. Approaching down inside the red zone now as clock winds down in this opening.
I'm a parent right now.
I love it. Jason?
Relaxed day for Wink. Underwood to the end zone, just shy of it. Was looking that time for Fred. 10th play of the drive here. Micah Capana takes his first carry, trying to vie for that third running back. Third down situation now in the red zone. That ball is caught. Just inside the 5-yard line.
Drive with a few completions on the hitch routes. Play calling is getting him into a nice rhythm for Steve Kasula.
Capana gets blown up in the backfield. That time coming up to make the play was Keyshawn Bennett. Really the D-line as a whole. So much depth. Underwood over the middle. And that is incomplete. Third and goal situation here. Underwood able to elude out of the pocket once again. It's a little too tall for Goodwin, but you saw the elusiveness in the pocket. Like you said,
sidestep or escape the pocket to avoid the sack and give the offense a chance to make a play.
Our first points on the board. The identity, but wanting to bring that to this offense that was lacking a season ago. Go to the ground. Bryson Tudzall job. It isn't Bryce Underwood's job just yet. Keen transferring from Fresno State. Davis able to elude some pressure here. Running out of real estate though. He'll scoot out of bounds just past the 40. Jake Mikey Keen plays
to try to win the starting job this fall.
Go back to the ground. Well, let's say hi to
embarked on this, which probably feels like years-long draft process since you finished up.
I just feel like Michigan's a place, you come to, everyone here is bought in and wants it at the highest level. So I came with level with the detail and the character it takes to get to that next level. So they gave us a great foundation, but we got a lot left to grow.
Mason, what's the anxiety level like here as we're sitting about less than a week now from hearing your name called?
But, a lot of the younger guys coming along and looking to step up, for a bigger role this year.
Mason, Will, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Look like a defense by messing with the snap count.
Lose a potential first-round draft pick in Will Johnson, the corner who Rep just spoke to, is now trying to bounce this to the outside, getting a first down, slipping up.
Turf that hole, force the defense to commit, then bounce it outside.
Back to the ground. Good tackle around the edge from Shamari.
Any type he wants in that cornerback room.
6'2", 5'11", and 6'2", all the guys you just mentioned there. Now rolling out. Davis going to use his legs. Of course, not hitting the quarterback today.
The positions across that offensive line, such a valuable piece for your offense as a whole. A guy with versatility that can step in if there's any injuries.
Flip it out. Pass is complete.
Jaden Davis, highly touted recruit, showing some nice things today.
His first really deep shot, one Samaj Morgan. That is incomplete, one-on-one down the side. Morgan wants to take his game to a new level this season. He feels Michigan fans will be surprised by the offense this year. Davis again, quick throw. Once O'Leary had to squeeze it into a tight window there.
Ability to push the ball down the field. So when you talk about expectations going forward for this fall, look at the talent in the quarterback room. A clear plus. We also bring in Chip Lindsey as a play caller. A clear
when this place is truly in a regular season atmosphere. So Bryce Underwood getting ready to take this second down snap. Looking confident right now. Jake isn't okay.
And upgrade their wins and compete for that conference title and playoff spot.
Nice hole opened up there on the right side for Capana. If it is Underwood starting, how about that week 2 task of going 2-0? Again, in the second quarter, we will have a 2-minute warning, so you get the playoff before that. Thrown opponents 39. Pressure is brought, picked up well, in and out of the hands of Fred Moore. And off this time, back to Capana. So far at the receiver spot, Channing Goodwin having a good day. Donovan McCulley
potentially to go up top here.
Vladimir, your screen there. On 3rd and 8, we'll see if they take the shot. You called it, Jake. They looked for it, but incomplete.
The defenses to slow the game down.
Now backed up here to 3rd and 18. Minute 44 to go in the half. And that ball thrown and intercepted on the back end by Tevis Metcalf. A transfer from Arkansas came over with his brother TJ. Both have had really good days so far in the opening half.
So he had great protection here in the pocket all day to throw the ball. You see number 14, Channing Goodwin, breaking out to the corner. It looked like Bryce expected him to stay vertical down towards the post. But, hey, you know, no 2 interceptions are the same. That's not a bad interception.
That time, but our first turnover, and now a minute 30 to work with for Jaden Davis. And the Maize team just trying to get some breathing room here with Kudzall at running back.
The names right there. Extremely deep room.
Back to the ground with Kudzall, and it's a group, Jake, that won't get worn down because of that. You can to be up there with 4 spots or to rotate in. Really good sign. Hole opened up that time, though, for Kudzall. Got through it and picked up a good first down.
Seen a good amount of Kudzall.
Yep. I was thinking that maybe we'll get the ball back. Then Maize team got the first down. It's winding now at 32 seconds. Go back to the ground here. Good yardage to get some of that lost yardage back. Kudzall won.
He's making a name for himself, running with great violence and balance.
It's a great opportunity when you're in that kind of a position in these spring games. Looks like we're going to wind down the opening half here. So Wood, solid start to his big house debut in front of fans. Stuart Blake will kick us off to get the second half rolling here in Ann Arbor. No returns. Jake, your thoughts on first half and what you're looking forward to seeing in the second half? At QB. They'll hand it off on the first play of the second half. Thomas O'Meara taking the carry. Nasina Sluadip. Defense showing blitz. They bring it, picked up, and that is picked off. Was it in bounds? Looks like it was. So our second INT of the day, Jeremiah Lowe jumping the route there.
That's a heck of a play, and really, if you're going to throw that ball out to the far side of the field, that ball has to be out early. Really, it was late by Jaden Davis, didn't have enough zip on it, and Jeremiah Lowe showing off the instincts, taking a great angle to come down with that interception. Almost had an interception in the first half, I believe, covering a little late, not enough zip. Jeremiah Lowe took advantage of the opportunity.
Give it to Capana, who's brought down quickly on the outside. Quick throw into a seam, incomplete. Really nice throw there from
Under his throw, but because of how much zip he has on the ball and because of his accuracy and ball placement, he's able to squeeze it in there. On the 50-50 ball in the first quarter of this game.
Oldest receiver in the room, 4 years at IU. Fourth down here, and that is Hoffman again. Really nice grab. I think he might have reeled it into one hand there.
He was being on 2 plays prior, and then they're being held in a critical situation coming down with it, showing off the strong hands by Hoffman to his advantage.
He began his career as a QB, 2023 at 28 catches, 420 yards. Speaking of the end zone, they go to it there, and a flag comes out. One-on-one PI call looking for Andrew Marsh. Knocking on the door for the second time down in the red zone for the blue team today. Can they capitalize this time? To the end zone they go, and that one is broken up. You see the games last year, part of the depth at corner this season. Get another crack at it, go to the ground this time, and Capana breaches the end zone. So our first touchdown of the day comes from...
It's a good job by the blue team taking advantage. It started off with the interception by 32, Jeremiah Lowe, giving Bryce Underwood in this blue offense good field position, and they were able to...
Blake with the extra point. And a 10-0 lead. They're getting a little bigger. Peyton O'Leary back to return. No returns. So to begin this third quarter, it was a quick series for the Maize at the end of last season, beating Ohio State and Alabama. You can feel it throughout the voices of the coaching staff. Is he going to get a hole on this right side here? Going back to Kudzall, who's had a nice day.
You got to find the right plays, so that's what we got to do today.
All right, what have you seen from these young quarterbacks really on both sides? As you know, young guys haven't had a lot of opportunity to play here in front of the big house.
Right, I actually had that's my second home. It's beautiful, man.
So look, you passed the torch to guys like Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, and now they pass the torch to guys like Rayshon Benny and company. What have you seen from that defensive tackle group trying to step up this year?
The defense is
there from Kudzall. It's going to set this Maize team up in a good position here, just inside of the 30 of the blue team. They go back to the ground again.
MVP of the...
By the way, Kudzall today, 13 carries, 100.
Michigan, particularly back in the early 2000s, had talent at that wide receiver position. Soup Campbell is making sure these guys know what the standard is here in Ann Arbor. It's not just running the football. It's, especially with Bryce Underwood and Chip Lindsey, now...
And it just feels like so much more potential this season when it comes to throwing the football. Of course, Bryce Underwood, who again hasn't been given that starting job yet. Not seeing Mikey Keene today either. We got a 41-yard field goal attempt here from Stuart Blake. That is off the mark. Let's go down to Red.
The explosive play quotient guy.
Yeah, Red, one data point that's really interesting. Davis Warren, his average depth of target last year, 6.6 yards. So just there was no space to breathe. Kind of to your point, Red, as Chip Lindsey wants to open this up and start to create some explosive plays.
Underwood going to pull it. They'll blow it down.
Commitment. There's talent here. Obviously, now you got Bryce Underwood, the 5-star. Talked about McCauley and some of these talented receivers they're bringing in. There's really only one direction to go, and that's up when it comes to... Thanks for holding me accountable, Red. I can't believe I haven't talked about the tight ends yet. You're absolutely right. And Colston Love and another guy, likely going in the first round is a muff punt return, but the tight ends are stir at the tight end position.
10 800-yard dash for Marlon Klein. And he's also the backup punter, played soccer in Germany. That athleticism is big as that pass across the body of Davis is incomplete. Kind of that Kyle Juszczyk comparison.
Yes.
They'll whistle that down in the backfield along the D-line. Could be the best group in the country if it all comes together right. They want O'Leary down the sideline. Nearly reached out and hauled it in. Working that time against Shamari. 6 straight games with a catch to wrap up last season. O'Leary definitely amongst those players looking out for at the receiver spot this year. First time for U of M fans seeing him in the big house. They go to the ground here to begin. Looking on the edge. Cut down out there by Tevis Metcalf.
Tevis Metcalf is one of those guys.
Underwood again to the air. Nice job to put the foot in the ground to the outside edge from Andrew Marsh. Able to step up and get the play and to step up at that receiver spot. Underwood plenty of time. Down the sideline, incomplete. Well, they were looking for that play that you
in spring the right way.
Chip, when you look at the quarterbacks, obviously you're watching Bryce Underwood here, the true freshman on your squad here. What have you seen through 3?
Yeah, I thought he got all, a little nervous at the beginning, like probably
pulled themselves out a little bit here. Have you had your eye on anything in particular through these first 3 quarters?
I think we're trying to really find that right combination with the O-line. That's always the hardest thing. It takes sometimes the longest. We got a good competition going on.
You guys remember Sharon Moore telling us Gio El Hadi probably had his best spring since he's been here.
Yeah, one of the more experienced guys across this offensive line and comfortable in that left guard spot. Talking to Chippy, they're in voice in the offensive line room to help out Grant Newsome. And he said he spent this offseason, every single offensive lineman has been doing basically an O-line tutor session with Juan Castillo.
For the blue team and Bryce Underwood. They'll hand it off. Capana trying to counter back to the left side to get enough for the first down. Looks like he should have enough to move the chains here. He does. Chip Lindsey coming over from North Carolina. That group had a lot of balance and success a season ago offensively. Head coach of Troy prior to that. OC at Southern Miss as well. Deep shot here down the seam for a good win out of the reach. Had him in the end zone open, but overthrown. It's the average 32 points per game last year, 423 yards per game. Prior year, 34 points per game. And we're top 10 in the NCAA in total yards in 2023 under Chip Lindsey. They go back to the ground again.
To push the ball downfield. That's something that they expect to connect on with Bryce Underwood for many years in the future.
Underwood stepping up, got a block on the outside for a first down and more.
For us to do that too, wear it on the field, just showing that, we respect them, we're showing love too. I just want to thank Jade, the girl that drew my picture.
You look for from a player like that kind of knows he's got the trust of the team.
I feel like just him, how he handles his business each and every day. Like every time before practice, he comes out corner. But I'm gonna show a lot of people that I'm here and I can do whatever I want to do, no matter if it's nickel, safety, corner. It don't matter. I'm out here to play and work and show people. And you better give him my respect.
Replacing that Mikey Sainristil nickel role initially. And he's capable of doing a little bit of everything. Great blitzer, great tackler, and a great DB.
Stewart Blake off the mark on that.
On the rest of the guys in the room, because Brandon Hillman's more that throwback, classic, violent safety.
Nice job to spin out of the initial grasp there. It's saying 4-star prospect, first time for Michigan fans seeing him from near the same area as Jayshawn Barhan in Maryland. They throw it to the outside this time, have a completion up near the yards again. Talked about the
hesitation. The first name he mentioned was Derek Moore. All great defenses need a great pass rusher, and that's number 8.
That ball is tipped and then complete and caught. Able to haul it in. The morning has turned into a beautiful day full of sunshine in Ann Arbor, and still 5:10 to go for the Maize team, down 10 to get a quick score and then try to get it back. You do have the 2-minute.
Ties the coverage. So if these guys can figure out how to handle that defense, they can figure out any defense.
I think this quarterback competition, Jake and Jason, is really interesting to watch. Play of the game, Trevor Keegan, the offensive lineman, comes off and says to Sharon, well, that's over, talking about the quarterback competition. And so it's moments like that where the team recognizes.
We'll expect to see and hear about going forward into the fall.
Little flea flicker, first time I've seen the trickery. Looking for O'Leary down the field in the double coverage and broken up. Go back to that Hawaii game. You crushed it in the pronunciations, by the way, your very first game. That was with our friend Lisa Byington, right?
Yes. A lot of work there with the Polynesian names, for sure.
Scooting out of bounds. Davis had to kind of throw that off his back foot. Whistled down, incomplete. Another opportunity for Davis here, just going to check it down. Nice hit made in the open field. Minute 10 to go. That pass is intercepted, thrown behind the intended target. And for the second time today, Jeremiah Lowe has a pick.
Looked like Jane Davis was just caught between, was it 85, Logan Forbes, or number 82, Imarion. Bryson Kuzdal, the running back.
Names that definitely had opportunities in this spring game to make a case for more playing time this year.
In Michigan history.
And some trickery here on one of his final few plays is going to be the biggest play of the day for the blue team for either side. This will go all the way to the house. 98 yards hooking up with Jalen Hoffman.
What a way to close it out for the blue team. What a way to close it out for Bryce.
Spring game for Bryce Underwood and the Michigan blue team offense.
Completely caught the Maize team off guard. They're probably thinking it's a run play to close it out and just run the final seconds off the clock. But Jalen Hoffman, a good job leaking out behind the defense after some trickery and shows off the speed to finish.
Hoffman 7 catches for 149 today. And a touchdown, biggest play of the game. Bryce Underwood, if there's any pressure, he's ready for it.
Kind of started slow to this game, took him a while to get settled in, but the final throw is a punctuation mark.
Let's go down to rep.
All right, Coach, that's a heck of a way to end this thing, putting an exclamation mark on this spring game here between the Maize and the Blue. What'd you see out there?
Yeah, I just proud of our guys. A really good spring. They had fun and no injuries. That's what we're happy about. But we got a lot of guys here. I want to get on the mic, so talk to these guys.